Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to take a look at a new series that I thought of doing for my channel, which is completing all the SBR, ESBR, Infinite Dragon Ball history, and well, as many legendary Goku events, challenges, etc. as free to play. So as you guys know, I do a lot of my content pretty much with a majority of free-to-play units, with a mix of units, with 55% units, but I thought I've never really done an official free-to-play challenge or, completing all the events free-to-play. So I thought it would be pretty cool to try it out and just do one thing per day, basically, and see what we can and can't do free-to-play, or what I can and can't do free-to-play, and see what's possible now in 2022. It's not necessarily meaning that it's going to be easy or harder. Some free-to-play units are actually more difficult to get than summonable units, and we'll talk about that when I look at each team's build. But I thought it would be a fun series to do. I'm just going to call it I'm just going to basically say free-to-play completion of X event or something. I haven't really decided on the series title. I thought I'd name it free-to-play challenge, but I don't know, didn't feel quite right, so we'll see. Maybe someone can come up with a cool name and I'll name everything that. But yeah, so this is going to be the first SBR stage, so it's very easy comparatively to all the other events, and we are using a fully free-to-play team. Now you have a lot of alternatives for this team, but this is the team I decided to take in, as I felt it was an okay team. There is some pretty strong alternatives, and we'll talk about that, but I thought this gives a nice representation and a decent pacing and decent understanding of the game's mechanics. So as you can see, the first thing is we are going to have the Candy Vegeta. Now Candy Vegeta is a unit that came with the Halloween events and received his EZA last year. Very good unit with a high level of evasion, which means we can run him in the first slot. He also has a chance to stun on his super attack, which will help us out with controlling the various units in Super Battle Road stages. He can do decent damage with a whole bunch of rainbow orbs, and he does stack, but both of those abilities aren't really going to be too useful in this specific event, just due to the pacing of the team overall. Remember, in the original SBR and in the first 10 ESBR, you actually fight 4 times, and also you also fight multiple enemies and a mixture of enemies. The teams can actually change, so what I face in this stage may not be exactly what you face. So you do need to be aware of that and just careful. In the rest of the rotation, we obviously have, like I said, we have that Candy Vegeta. But in the second slot on that rotation, we're going to be running Kaba. Kaba is very good after his EZA, a Universe 6 unit. He and Candy Vegeta are relatively easy to get. They both drop from events, and they both have pretty easy-ish EZAs as well, using a majority of free-to-play units to complete those. So they're not necessarily bad grinds at all. The hardest heroes to get on this team, or the units to get on this team, are actually the LR Hercule. He's pretty rough to get, requires a lot of Zenny, which isn't necessarily the greatest thing nowadays, especially since he originally released with a campaign where there was quite a lot of Zenny to get back to get him, but he's going to cost you a lot of Zenny. And then also the Prime Battle Goku. He's going to be quite challenging. He's not necessarily going to be the best unit to get. The Prime Battle Goku and his EZA, because you do need to EZA him, is quite challenging. Does require quite a few units, and there is a guide to it which I have linked up in the top right hand corner of my channel. That is probably the most challenging unit to get you from a grind perspective. So in terms of the team, we've got a friend Angel SS3 Goku. We're going to pair him up with the Candy Vegeta, just because they make a nice pairing. The SS3 Goku after his EZA is very strong, and doesn't need a lot to get going. He also has a stun. His stun combined with Candy Vegeta's potential stun makes it pretty good as well, so that's also going to help us out. Then in the other rotation we're running Hercule, and we're going to run the Master Roshi and Tien unit. Master Roshi and Tien, very good unit. They obviously build stacks based on how many times they get hit. Ideally we're going to run them in the second slot here, for the main reason just of the fact that when they run in the second slot they can actually seal and lower the attack and defense of anyone who is actually attacking them. This is going to help them out quite a bit, because it's going to essentially prevent them from taking too much damage, and then when they get hit by that unit afterwards they won't take so much damage. There's also less risk of them getting super attacked, which does help quite a bit. Then of course we have Hercule. Like I said, very expensive unit to get, but not necessarily the most difficult. Allah Hercule has a really easy way to get him. You just get him through a friend summon, and then you essentially easy aim with money, which is great. His leader skills, what we're using here, it's a 2 key all types 100%, and we also obviously his passive's a little bit RNG. He has a great chance of key +7 and attack of 77%. He has key +3 and defense of 77 for 3 turns from the start of turn, and he has a high chance of evading enemy super attacks for 3 turns after receiving an attack. He can stack his attack and defense because he raises them by 50% for 3 turns, but only on his 18 key. So you do have to make sure that he gets his 18 key. As you can see, debating whether to use an item, we'll be using an item, and I think that's the only item we'll be using in this entire run, which means it's really not too bad. Most of the units tank really well. I mean, the game has come a long way since SBR, so these first stages really have kind of dropped down in difficulty, especially since free-to-play units are so strong. A good alternative to this team is just literally to change out the friend lead. You can change the friend lead for the Universe 7 Goku and Frieza LR. Since they're easy A, they got 120% attack and defense, and 120% leader skill for tech types, which really does help out quite a lot. And you can pair them up nicely with the Master Roshi and Tien, and they do a lot of damage, which is really good. I also probably in hindsight would switch out the Prime Battle Goku for the LR Oob. The LR Oob is from the Battlefield currency shop. You can buy him with Battlefield currency. He's a pretty good unit, so I would probably switch them out. He also makes Rainbow Orbs. He brings a heal when you're low on health, and Goku didn't really feel like he was being utilized too well here. Goku's link set is kind of what holds him back. He actually is a pretty cool unit, but his link set just isn't that great. So yeah, Goku, definitely not bad, but just really realistically, I think Oob will be a better unit if you're looking at recreating this exact team. Now, like I said, in terms of like free-to-play teams can traditionally be a little bit harder to utilize than your standard team. So if you're looking at this team and you're going, gosh, I don't think I'll be able to awaken any of these guys, then please try and remember that it's not necessarily to say that it's easy to have all of these free-to-play units. They're more a sign of dedication and playing the game for a long time than they are by saying that they're necessarily easy to utilize. But the free-to-play team just shows essentially that there is a way to attain success without summoning, and hopefully that will enable you to get some nice rewards that you can use to summon. The final unit we're running around is Goku and Gohan. They are a very good unit. They've aged really well. I still really like what they bring to the table, just considering how old they are actually as a unit. These guys easy A'd a couple years ago during the worldwide celebration. I think it was 2 years ago, 2 worldwide celebrations ago. And yeah, they're just a very solid unit. They bring a lot to the table. They bring debuffing of the enemy. They lower their super attack. They raise their own defense as well upon super attack. And they bring Goku's family support, which obviously does help out quite a bit in terms of the team. You can see here, I was trying to avoid getting a super attack, hoping that we'd be able to take out the Android 15, but unfortunately I was not able to do so because, quite frankly, yeah, Hercule got his +7 key, which is fine. It does happen, so it's not really the end of the world. Hercule is a slightly unreliable unit to utilize. He's not necessarily the most reliable unit just because he can't always get his attack bonus, he can't always get his defense bonus. So Hercule's a little bit of a gamble. I do like that they kept the spirit of the unit, but to cut a long story short, he isn't really my top preference of unit to use, and hopefully one day they'll release a better free-to-play lead. You could use the LR Goku with 90% lead across the board, but I just feel like it's not necessarily the best situation overall. This is where the SS3 Angel Goku and the Candy Vegeta are going to come in handy by quite a bit. Because they're both stunned, they're going to be a very, very good situation for us when taking out Boo and Babidi. So this is going to be a very good situation for us. Stunning them, keeping them stun locked, and just basically having a lot of control of the fight. We'll be able to debuff them with our other units, which will be very, very good. And that'll just be able to kind of like stop us taking a lot of damage, and we'll be able to dish out enough damage to take them out, which, is good overall. I do suggest focusing down Majin Buu because he's generally stronger than Babidi. Not by too much it seems, but he is definitely stronger. So I would suggest that you focus in on him and just making sure that you manage to take him out. That's going to help you the most. Also, Tien and Roshi seal, so try and utilize them to really keep whichever unit you are concerned about, and just kind of like keep them sealed up, keep them from like attacking you, keep them from doing a lot of damage, and that will really, really help you out across the board. So, yep, like I said, the team runs really nicely, it runs really well. There's really not too much more to kind of talk about in terms of team build. Yeah, the team handles itself, does what it needs to do, and gets everything done. Hercule will be a problem for brand new players. He is too expensive, you will not have the money, and you're better off using the money on Awakening and doing other things. The Prime Battle Goku is not a big issue for new players, like at all, but he can be a tiny bit of an issue just because Prime Battle Goku is quite a grind, and not all the events are up all the time or anything like that, so he's not going to be a unit you can just decide after watching this video, oh hey, I want to go do him through Portal of Memories, or I want to go get him through these events. It's just a little bit too difficult. It's going to take you quite a lot of time, so rather wait for all the Prime Battle Goku stuff to come back, and then you'll be able to pick him up. Although, like I said, he's not really necessary, and I would switch him out with the Battlefield Oob pretty easily. Just honestly speaking, kind of not needed. The Battlefield Oob is really, really good. He brings a heal, he brings debuffing, he brings Rainbow Orbs, and he does about the same damage this Goku did. Now, Goku has a much higher peak. Goku can do a lot more damage overall. Goku can tank a lot better in certain situations. It's just that the way the team is built, we can't really cater to Goku too well, and it just feels like it's not needed to cater to Goku to get through the stage. So I would just, like I say, just honestly probably go with Oob over him, which makes the team a little bit easier and a bit better to use. And like I said, you can change the friend lead. I would consider changing it. I would use the Goku and Frieza LR. I think they are definitely the best choice. You only lose 10% overall comparatively to the SS3 Angel Goku. Yes, you do lose a stun, but the damage they do is going to just be a lot safer. They also pair up nicely with the Master Roshi and the Tien. So I just think overall they are a lot better to utilize. But that's going to be it from me. As you can see, we're going to end up the stage here. All pretty good, only one item used and a decent time as well. So free to play, SBR, tech, very simple. And yeah, very cool now, very easy, very straightforward. So that's going to be it from me. Hope you enjoyed this series. Leave a like down below, or leave a comment if you got any suggestions on what to take on next, or a name for the series. That would also help. But as always, take care, stay safe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.